This is a tutorial on how to play Alone Again naturally using this right hand pattern. Hi, this is Teacher Bob. I did a content on guitar chords and lyrics for the song Alone Again Naturally by Gilbert O'Sullivan. In that content, I provided the right hand technique. And here's the clip of that content.
In a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sour.
But that content merely shows me doing the demo of that right hand technique. So for those who were not able to follow that technique, this video is a tutorial on that right hand technique. The song is written in key of F sharp, so make sure the guitar is tuned to standard tuning. And that is, for a guitar tuned to standard, the 6th string is tuned to an E, the 5th string to A, the 4th string to D, the 3rd string to G, the 2nd string to B, and the 1st string to an E. So this is the pitch of the 6th string, which is an E, and this is the pitch of the 5th string, which is A, the 4th string, a D, 3rd string, G, 2nd string, B, and the 1st string, E. An E that is 2 octaves higher than this E. And so for the guitar, the 6th string is the low E, the 1st string is the high E. A guitar has 2 sets of strings, a set of bass strings and a set of treble strings. These are the bass strings. The bass strings are the strings with lower pitches compared to treble strings, and these are the treble strings. So the bass strings and then the treble strings. Since there are 3 bass strings, let me differentiate these bass strings from one another. Consider A major chord. The diagram for this chord shows that the 6th string, which is a bass string, is marked with an X. So it is a dead string for this chord, meaning the 6th string, which is tuned to E, must not be played for this chord. So this is dead string. The 5th string is marked with a small letter O, which stands for the word open. So it is an open string for this chord. An open string is a string that is not fingered or not fretted or has no finger on it, but is part of the chord, and so it must be played. The open 5th string is the lowest sounding string for this chord. It is a bass string, so I will call it the primary bass string for this chord. The open 5th string, which is tuned to A, is actually the root tone for A major chord. The 4th string is another bass string, but I will call this string, the 4th string, as the secondary bass string for this chord. So for A major chord, this is the primary bass string and this is the secondary bass string. Now let's consider E major chord. For this chord, none of the strings are marked with an X, so there's no dead string. The sixth string is marked with an O, so it is an open string. It is an open sixth string for E major chord. It is actually the root tone for this chord, as it is the lowest sounding string and is tuned to E. So the sixth string is the primary bass string for this chord. The fifth string is another bass string, but it is tuned higher than the sixth string. So I will call this string as the secondary bass string for this chord. Primary bass string, secondary bass string. The fourth string is another bass string for this chord, but its pitch is higher than that of the fifth string. The picking pattern that I employed or used for this song only requires 2 bass strings for every chord or for each chord. So for this song, the chords in which the sixth string is the primary bass string and the fifth string as the secondary bass strings are E major chord, F dominant 7th, F sharp major, F sharp 6th, and G sharp minor. So for those chords, the sixth string is its primary bass string and the fifth string is its secondary bass string. And for the other set of chords, A major, B flat minor, B minor, C sharp major, C sharp major 7th, C sharp minor, C sharp 7th, C sharp 7th suspended, and E flat diminished. The fifth string is the primary bass string and the fourth string the secondary bass string. For F sharp augmented, which is this shape, I played the fourth string as its primary bass string and the third string, though it is a treble string, I consider it as its secondary bass string. The rhythm of the pattern is 8 notes, so apply 8 note counting, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is the pattern for every measure. The pattern involves 2 bass strings for each and every chord. So for each chord that is to be played for one full measure, right at count 1, you play with your thumb the primary bass string. At N after count 1, play with your thumb the secondary bass string. At count 2, you pick the treble strings. These are the treble strings. You pick them with the tip of your fingers upward and at the same time, and that is actually an upstroke. Index finger on the third string, middle finger on the second string, and ring finger on the first string. So pick them up at the same time. At N after count 2, pick the primary bass string again. At count 3, pick the primary bass string again. At N after count 3, pick the secondary bass string. At count 4, pick the 3 treble strings one more time with the tip of your fingers. It is exactly the same for count 2. And lastly, at N after count 4, pick the primary bass string for the last time in a measure. So for those chords in which the sixth string is the primary bass string and the fifth string as the secondary bass string, like E major, the pattern goes this way. Same thing for F sharp major. And also for G sharp minor. And for those chords in which the fifth string is the primary bass string and the fourth string as the secondary bass string, like A major, it goes this way. Likewise for B flat minor, for B minor, for C sharp minor, and for C sharp major 7th, but there are times when a chord is only played half of a measure and the other half of a measure is for another chord. This song has split measures. A split measure is a measure that has two or more chords. So for a measure that has two chords, you split the pattern accordingly. The first split measure that occur in this song is the measure that has G sharp minor at count 1 and C sharp 7 at count 3. So the application of the pattern for this measure goes this way. 1 and 2 and then you move to the next chord, 3 and 4 and. So that's how the pattern goes between G sharp minor and C sharp 7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in other occurrences you have B flat minor and E flat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you have F sharp major and F sharp augmented, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and between F sharp 6 and F dominant 7, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and between C sharp minor and E flat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and between B minor and C sharp, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and between A major and E flat diminished, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for G sharp minor, C sharp suspended and C sharp 7th in a measure in which G sharp minor is at count 1, C sharp suspended 7 is at count 3 and C sharp 7 is at count 4, I play this way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here's the demo on how to play the intro and verse 1 at a slower tempo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
In a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sore, I promised myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower. Climbing to the top, will throw myself off in an effort to make it to remember what it's like when you're shattered, left standing in the lurch by the tracks where people say, my God, it's decided on my own, alone again, naturally.
And for the bridge and instrumental part at slower tempo,
Seems to me that there are words broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? What do we do?
the chords sheet is available at musicnotes.com. See the link in the description box.
Alone again, naturally.
There. And for the whole song with chords and lyrics or diagrams, click this card. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to get notified for new upload. Please check out the end screens for more contents like this. Thank you for watching.